This is Ben.
Mr. Jeremy.
You're listening to Small Town Stoics. So we're going to do a quick current events update because there's a lot that happened over the weekend. So you had a kind of a guy that you want to talk about before we get started. So
Yeah.
tell the world about him.
For those of you listening, you know I really love heavy music. And Tuesday, I believe, we had a big one. We lost him. He died. No one knows why yet or anything. Just didn't wake up. His name was Riley Gale. He was the lead singer for a band called Power Trip. Now, most of you probably never heard of Power Trip, but they only had a couple records. Man, they were intense. One of the best live shows I've ever seen. You know, they were the type of band that you didn't want to play after if you were on the lineup because they would kick your ass. Like, if you didn't get moved at a Power Trip show or move, you know, I don't know what to say, but anyway, they were pretty vicious, and Riley was a really outspoken dude politically and things like that. You know, he was real big on the rights train, gay rights, and all that stuff. And one cool thing that they did every year for a couple of years now, well, you know, anyway, they were a fledgling band for a couple of years. They had a festival called Evil Beat, and all the proceeds they would donate to the Dallas Hope Charities, which is for like homeless teens and shit.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've noticed about a lot of metal bands is they're always like, you know, they get this reputation of being like satanic worshipers and stuff like that, and they're always like super generous. They're always ahead of the curve as far as like gay rights and racial discrimination and stuff like
Very
that. Like
so.
they're always on the forefront. But everybody always gives them just like so much shit.
Well, it's because you know, it's not real. A lot of people don't see it as listenable music. If you fall in love with the music, then you start to fall in love with the individuals that make it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all bands are that way, but a lot of them really are. And that's the thing about Riley Gale and that band is they lived it. I mean, they put their money where their mouth was, and you know, they put that festival on. They didn't even headline their own festival. Like, they brought in bands that inspired them.
Oh yeah.
And so they played, and then those bands came on and played after them.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, a lot of bands wouldn't have done that.
No.
You know, this is our festival, we're headlining.
Yeah.
So anyway, get out there, download some Power Trip records. There's only 2 of them, and you know, make them famous because Riley Gale was an intense dude.
Well, and this weekend seemed to be a big weekend as far as like deaths go.
Yeah.
With him, heard this morning on the radio that John Thompson,
Yeah.
coach for Georgetown back in the 80s and 90s, died.
The
And then,
Black Panther died.
Yeah, Chadwick Boseman died. So it was a big weekend for famous people dying.
Well, it always comes in threes usually. So
That's true.
That was the 3. Of course, Riley Gale isn't as famous as those 2, obviously, but you know, he meant a lot to me. So
Yeah,
get out there, download some records.
yeah, show some support. So on other current events, today's the MLB trade deadline. So what are your predictions on the Rangers? I know it's impossible to predict what they will do. What do you think they're trying to do?
I know what they need to do, or doing it is another story. I think this season's a wash. I mean, you can't trade for a rental player,
No.
especially with just a handful of games left. So
I think a lot of people would be really pissed.
well, that and the fact that you can't trade for at the short of the season anyway, like I said, for rental players or anything. And I think it's stupid really for any team to do that.
Yeah.
You know? You may be in the driver's seat, but you can still stay in the driver's seat and not do anything. Pitching is obviously where they need to go. And rumor has it that they're talking about getting rid of Lance Lynn. And I'm like, that's the one pitcher you have. Stop.
Well, man, I don't know. I think they need to trade him. I think they could get, if they trade him to contender, I think they can get 3
Well, maybe some value there, but
high-level prospects out of him. I mean, we're not going to be winning next season either.
No.
And so trading now where you can get a bunch for him and go ahead and wash out next season.
Well,
which who knows what's going to happen next season anyways.
well, I mean, right now, I think if you make a trade, you're punting on the season.
Oh, they have.
It's over.
I think they might as well anyways.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're just playing now to finish out games.
Yeah. I heard on the radio they're looking at the big ones are Lynn. Some teams are interested in Gallo, of course. I think if you get him back in Hitter's Park, I think the new park's not hitter friendly like the old park was. And then to my Gallo, apparently some people are still interested in Minor, which I'm kind of surprised by. Like he was good last season, hasn't been great this year.
I mean, for Minor would be a rental player.
Yeah,
he's that guy, but you don't get any value for him.
No, but maybe you get a couple prospects, but not like high end level ones. Maybe just rebuilding the farm system.
You'll get something for Lynn, and definitely Gallo. But
the best one I heard so far though that I'm really behind is basically swapping Odor for somebody else's overpaid, like they're tired of the player. Like, hey, if you'll take our problem, we'll take your problem.
Well, I mean that could work, but then you end up with
But as long as they don't add years.
Will Myers or some shit.
Yeah, but as long as they don't add years to it, like, you know what, Odor's got 2 years left, 3 years left.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
And so as long as they're not trading for a overpriced player that's got 4 or 5 years left.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I think that'd be fine. You know, you never know what a player will do when he gets to a new environment.
No,
but it's obvious Odor's not doing it with the Rangers.
Well, he hasn't been doing it for a while. He's a strikeout machine.
Yeah, he's had 2.5 years. He's been in this slump for 2.5 years. At some point, that's just who you are.
I mean, he's good defensively. I'll give him that, but he's not somebody you can count on every night for anything. So, I mean, he's one of those guys that either strikes out or hits a home run. That's all he can do.
Yeah.
But you know, Gallo's the same way. But you know, Gallo brings the fans in. Though. He's the big, good-looking dude that can hit it a mile.
And last year, it seemed like he'd figured out how to hit doubles and singles. I mean,
well, you talk about that.
Not for average or anything, but at least he was getting more in play when he wasn't hitting home runs.
I think it was about a week ago. I saw this statistic.
Mm-hmm.
He has 116 career home runs.
Yeah.
He has 113 career singles.
Yeah, but like 70 of them came last season or something.
Yeah, still. I mean, the next closest guy is like 5 and 8. And he's a minor leaguer or something. You know, it's just insane.
Yeah.
But you got to think the dude plays into the shift most times. So I mean, everybody's shifted to his side. So singles just really don't happen a lot.
Yeah.
But that's still an insane stat.
No, you're right.
You've got more home runs than you have singles. So not a lot of folks can say anything about that.
No. That is kind of crazy. That's hard to do. Or you couldn't do that on purpose.
No, there's no way.
Yeah.
And it's just the way that the defense is playing. That's why he gets it that way. And the dude doesn't know how to bunt, you know, so he hits the ball far.
Even on bunts.
Yeah. So I mean, it would be he's either a double or home run machine.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're looking for a single out of him, then you are.
Yeah.
But that's because of the way defense is playing. 10 times out of 10 they're shifted on him.
Yeah.
And third baseman standing at second base. You've got shortstop and second baseman in between first. I mean, you got all 4 of your infielders right there.
I hate that shit.
They do too, but it's very effective.
No, it is. It is.
It's very effective.
I can't believe more players haven't learned how to hit oppo.
Well, you know.
It just drives me insane.
Send it down the third base line and you'll never have to worry about it because the only guy there is the outfielder.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Mavs for a minute. That ended.
Yeah, it ended. Minus game 5, the series pretty much went kind of how I thought it was going to go. Mm-hmm. I said at the beginning of the series, I thought it'd go 6 games. I thought they'd be really close, you know, well fought. Like it'd be a competitive series.
Yeah.
The Mavs got hampered. Game 1, KP gets thrown out. They're up 8 or 9. End up losing 5, and they win that game if KP didn't get thrown out. They were starting to run away with it. Game 2, Clippers come back and win that game. Game 3, Luka hits the
so that was
30
the walk-off, basically.
Yeah, hit the 30-footer in overtime to win it without KP. So basically, KP stopped playing after the second game because of knee injury. Turns out he has a torn meniscus. So they played games 3, 4, and 5, and 6 without him.
Yeah.
And they win game 3 in overtime. Game 5, I don't know what happened. They got blown out.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got beat like 40. It was bad. And nobody hit the broadside of a barn. Game 6 was going that way. Mavs fought back, got within 6 towards the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of just players on Clippers hit a couple back-to-back threes and got it back to about 15 and never got closer than that. I And so, but not having KP there definitely swung the series. But I think if he's there, they win one more game. I still don't think they're going to win the series, but I think that maybe they force a game 7.
Yeah.
So.
Well, maybe they'll pick some. I don't know what's out there in free agency this year.
Well, the problem is we don't have a lot of money, so we're kind of under the cap. I was starting to think that Tim Hardaway Jr. was going to opt out of his contract. He's got a player option for $19 million.
Yeah,
but then he had
crazy
two.
to give that up.
Well, he had two. The first 3 or 4 games of the series, and in the bubble, he was killing, like averaging like 24, 25 points, hitting everything he threw up. Well, the last 2 games of the series, he was 12 points a game and couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. I think it dropped his stock enough to question it, where I think he'll opt in, and so we won't have any money next season. It'll be the 21-22 season when money starts to show back up. So, but
build around them, build around their 2 Europeans.
To me, the 2 big stories coming out of this, one is that Luke is definitely going to be the face of the league for the next 8 years.
Maybe.
He 2 triple doubles. He averaged 31, almost 10 and 8 or 10 and 9, like almost average triple double for the series. He'll be one of the top 5 players in the league for the next 8 or 9 years. The other one though is, and this is just my personal belief on it, is Marcus Morris Sr. is a dirty player. Like, he can say what he wants, but and I'm a guy that got by in high school. I mean, you watched me play high school ball. I got by being a lot more physical than everybody else, and like using hard fouls and getting in people's heads. Like, I was the Patrick Beverly and the Dennis Rodman, and my job was basically just to fuck with the other players and play defense and rebound. But I never tried to hurt anybody. Yeah. And so the first game when KP got thrown out, to me, like, I didn't have a problem with what Morris did. Like, he instigated, he got under some people's skins, he instigated a fight, got the other team's second best player thrown out of the game. That's what a guy in his role should do. Like, he wasn't trying to hurt, he didn't try to hurt anybody, he just started a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And then, what was it, game 2? Game 2 was the bitch-ass white boy comment. In these day and times, I don't think you can get away with saying stuff like that, but I don't have a problem with shit talk.
No,
and so, like, to me, he was just shit talking. But then he gets around and he's trying to step on Luka's ankles and trying to slide up underneath him on 3-pointers and stuff when he's got the rolled ankle. And then the foul last night was, he can say what he wants, he was absolutely not going for the ball. He was trying to karate chop him to the throat.
Yeah.
Like, he wound up. And so, I think he's a dirty player.
There you go.
So, but anyways, that's basically the weekend roundup.
Yeah.
And it was an eventful, uneventful weekend. Your kid's going to be a dead eye in about 2 years.
Pretty good.
He can get a little bit bigger. Hold the rifle a little better.
He's pretty good.
He blew up a couple things at Tanner. I think he may be addicted now.
Yeah, he's a shooter.
So I know it definitely was good for me. I needed to get out and shoot something.
Yeah.
I had a good time with that. But anyways, so that's this weekend's updates. Check us out on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube.
Everywhere else you can get your favorite podcasts.
Yep. Have a good weekend.
Download some Power Trip.
Yes, definitely.